Hi everyone and welcome to the weekly update with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Handtech Markets. Each week I'll take you through the key events that I believe will be driving your investments in the coming days. Certainly moving into this week, the ECB and its actions last week remain high up on the agenda. How is the market reacting to this? Well, the ECB engaged several measures on its attempt to ease monetary policy and cutting interest rates, also taking the deposit rate negative, and also and the ending of the sterilisation of the bond purchases under the S&P programme, and also putting forward progression towards a programme of quantitative easing. Now, I think that this end of the sterilisation of the bond purchases, I think, is a key move, because it certainly would have had to have got that past the Bundesbank, and it is effectively QE by the back door. Now, that suggests that subsequently in months to come, quantitative easing should be coming through, and I think it's just a fact that they need to iron out a few issues before they just engage that. So I think ultimately quantitative easing will be coming forward now. Now, what impact has that had on the markets? Well, certainly at the moment, peripheral bond yields in the Eurozone have remained, continues to push to record lows. And also that has resulted in a bit of a rally in the euro. Now, that rally in the euro is just showing signs of topping out at the moment. It's up at a key resistance level that I'll talk about in a minute, but I think it could now be coming back towards a level at which investors will be looking at as a selling opportunity once again. In terms of risk appetite, the markets have been certainly buoyed by this move by the ECB. The VIX index is up at is actually now fallen to 7-year lows. Now, the last time it was back at here was beginning of 2007, and it was not until the mid 2007 until the market saw a significant high and then started to fall away again quite strongly. So we need to be just having a look at this on a longer term basis now. The indices actually still are pulling positively, pushing to all-time highs, but certainly I think that VIX index is something that we need to be looking at. Okay, so for the FX markets, how is the euro moving? Well, the euro continues to, as I said, find resistance underneath that $1.3670 mark. That is a key resistance level from a big double top pattern that had been in place for about 10 weeks, and it should now potentially, certainly technically speaking, could even be a nice opportunity to sell. So I think that's a level we need to be looking out for this week. For cable is actually pulling back towards the intersection of two key resistance levels on some trends. You've got the resistance of a 1-month downtrend and also the underside resistance of the old primary uptrend. So around about that $1.6845 mark, I think, is a very key level for this cable chart near term. For dollar yen, the rally that we've seen in the recent weeks has actually now taken us back up towards, once again, the underside resistance of this old uptrend, but the dollar yen is above the pivot level at 102, and I think having left a low at 102.10, this could now start to be a higher low, and this is where the dollar bulls might start to look to build from. And I think that the price action in the last few weeks certainly suggests that there's a holding of that key support of the February low at 100.74. Moving on to indices, as I said, the S&P 500 remains at key all-time highs. So there's been an upside projection that targeted 1950, which is there or thereabouts now. So investors will now be looking towards 2000 as the next really big level that they're going to be watching. Now, can it get there? Well, the S&P 500 is moving into overbought territory at the moment, and it has a little bit of reduced upside potential on the back of that. So it'd be interesting to see if it can push on throughout this week. Moving on to the DAX, similar sort of story. It's up at all-time highs. It's finding a bit of a resistance level around that key 10,000 mark in the last couple of days, and it'll be interesting to see once again if it can break out and hold above that 10,000 mark. FTSE remains a big laggard though, and it's still struggling to break out. I do believe ultimately it may well break out, but it still needs a bit more effort on the upside. Whether we get it this week, there's a few bits of UK data that could drive that FTSE forward this week, but certainly at the moment it's struggling to really break out that 6,895 mark. Okay, on to gold. Gold has started to rally a bit. I suppose you've got one of the global big central banks engaging in monetary easing, which should ultimately aid liquidity and help gold to pull higher. But I think at the moment there's such significant overhead resistance on gold. 1260 is the first mark, then 1268, and then 1277 after that. And also the lack of demand that we're getting through from Asia suggests that there could be struggling to really make much headway on the upside. I think we're going to get some retests of the 1240 level and a break back below that for then after that 1231. Silver is another interesting play at the moment, having broken back below that 1880 key support level. It's been a bit of a rally recently, but I think that could now just be another chance to sell. And I think we're going to get further pressure on that 1880 support. Okay, so what are the key events this week that could be moving the markets? Well, certainly the Chinese inflation data tomorrow, and also the UK manufacturing data as well, the manufacturing production that people will be looking out for. Certainly the capacity utilisation as a potential sign towards inflation coming further down the road. Also, we've got UK unemployment on Wednesday. That will be interesting. Certainly in recent months, the UK unemployment has been a very strong indicator for the markets. And also then on Thursday we're looking at the ECB monthly bulletin, which puts a bit more meat on the bones for last week's meeting, and also the US retail sales as well. Then on Friday we're just going to finish off with the BOJ, Bank of Japan monetary policy statement, and also the Michigan sentiment for the US. So these are the events that are moving markets, I think, this week. So I wish you good luck with your trading, and I will speak to you next week. Thank you.